Welcome to Jaunty Haunts, the podcast about all things supernatural. After 30 years of keeping a secret, I'm finally ready to share with the world that I see ghosts. Yep, I've been having conversations with the other side while trying to keep up appearances. This podcast is all about getting spooky and connecting with others who might also sense, see, or feel things beyond the ordinary. We'll swap true tales of the seen and unseen, and maybe even laugh about the weird stuff we've experienced. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, come join me as we explore the paranormal. Let's connect, share, and maybe feel a little less crazy together. Welcome to Jaunty Haunts.
Welcome back, my haunted darlings, to part 2 of our descent into the infernal depths. This is Jaunty Haunts, and I'm your ghost host, Courtney, here to hold your hand as we tiptoe through hell's waiting room. Last time, we cracked open the cellar door on Demonology, sniffed some sulfur, flipped through a few forbidden tomes, and dared to say the D word out loud. You know, the devil. But tonight, tonight we dive deeper. We're talking Satanism, not just panicked 80s newsreels and metal lyrics. We're gonna explore how different religions and cultures frame the Prince of Darkness and what it means when you put horns on your god or your enemy. We'll also be crawling through the ancient dust-covered hierarchies of hell, from dukes to marquises to demon kings. Who reports to who in the underworld? How many legions does this unholy bureaucrat command? It's like LinkedIn, but with blood contracts. And because I can't resist a little chaos, we're also going to do some character work and improv. That's right. Kevin and I may become a little possessed with some silly comedy. Anyway, it's a weird ride. So light your black candles, pour yourself a chalice of something red, and maybe lock your doors because we're going straight to hell, sweet listener. And we're doing it with style. The CASPER rating of this episode is 2. Okay, are you okay if I get into the positive effects of Satanism?
Oh, sure, yeah, let's talk about that.
Okay, great. So, an emphasis on individualism and personal autonomy. Modern satanic movements such as LaVeyan Satanism prioritize self-empowerment, encouraging individuals to think independently and reject dogmatic beliefs. Love. The second one is advocacy for social justice secularism. Organizations like the Satanic Temple engage in activism promoting the separation of church and state, reproductive rights, and LGBTQIA equality. Love. Number 3, dynamic and evolving belief systems. Satanism is often described as a dynamic and ever-evolving path, offering continuous opportunities for learning and personal growth. Number 4 is community and belonging. For some, satanic groups provide a sense of community and belonging, especially for those who feel marginalized by mainstream groups. The last one I have here is promotion of rational inquiry. Certain branches of Satanism encourage critical thinking and skepticism, challenging individuals to question established norms and beliefs.
Cool. Yeah, I know a little bit about modern Satanism, but pretty much just what you've described. But yeah, it's interesting how the character of Satan has been sort of reclaimed as a sign of power, or as a way to claim back power. And it is interesting that it's a non-theist sort of religion. Like a god isn't necessarily part of the religion so much as like finding your own path,
right?
Yeah, it's very interesting.
It almost seems the opposite of like what I would think it would be, or what like the norms would think it would be, of like a very almost controlling and demanding and possessive and like self-righteous, weird, like perverted thing, such as like the Bible's teachings, whereas it's like not that at all. Like, I feel like some really cool people I know or that I follow that are Satanists are like truly like some of the most open-hearted, kind people that are just like, oh, I can fuck some shit up, but I want to make it a good world, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's great. I think, you know, being able to talk with the shadow self is really important, and like what I love about Satanism, what I just love is that it encourages a inquiry of the self. You know, it wants you to think about yourself and who you are and what your morals are and how you want to show up. And I think that's something that we all should do. We should all interrogate what we want from life and how do we want to be in life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And teaching how and encouraging people to think critically about other like dogmatic belief systems, whereas like Christianity or, you know, evangelicalism is very much like, that's wrong, don't worry about it, it's just wrong, and it's like, okay, whereas like that's not critical thinking.
yeah, I mean, it's scary to realize you live in a world where there aren't answers for everything.
Yeah.
And like evangelical Christianity, apologize to all the evangelicals who might be offended, but I don't know why you're listening to an episode on Satan.
But
hey,
I don't know either,
welcome, like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, come on in, yeah.
But like, those religions offer comfortable answers. They give you this book, and it says everything that you need to know is in this book. All the truth is here. And that's so comfy. It's so comfy to have that security in a world that is incomprehensibly complex and scary.
That's a great point.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think that Satan is part of that comfort, because then you can take all of these horrible things that happen and condense it into one being that you can blame.
Right.
Like, you know, it's the problem of evil is like, if there is a all good God who created the world, why does evil exist? And so Satan is created to answer that.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that Satanism encourages a kind of critical thinking that could make you, if say you were raised as a Satanist and you use that critical thinking skill to then decide to reject Satanism and embrace something else. It's interesting that could happen in that path, and that's like like accepted.
But it's like a choice,
it's a choice,
as opposed to like being born into something that
being told, here's the answers. There's nothing. Everything beyond it is evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, it's so funny. Like, even as a child, like, I feel lucky that I don't know if it's just because I watched a lot of TV or what, but like, I like challenged religion all the time when I was in it. And I remember like learning, okay, I'm going to take down a little memory. It was crazy. But basically we were at like Bible study. It was my friend and I and her dad, who was like a very strong like leader in this religion. It was a branch of Christianity. And he was like, you know, there's a test and a man is standing there and he says, you know, you can either, you know, harm your family and I'll give you everything you ever wanted in the world, or you can, you know, go home and be with your family, but they'll be poor forever. What would you do? It's like all these like weird tests that they were like giving to us as 8-year-olds. And I remember asking like, this seems like a trick. Is the man the devil? Like, what is this? You know, and them being like, well, yeah, but like, you know, but don't worry about it. And being like, wait, hold on, you know, and like they stopped doing it because I would be like, wait, this is not appropriate. We're 8. Like,
yeah, I'm an 8-year-old and you're asking me to choose between my family and everything I could ever want.
Yeah, and my friend is like crying, standing next to me, like, I would choose my family, but also I don't know, like, you know, and it's just like, does everything you ever want include your family? Like, also that's stupid too. Like, can the devil give my family and I everything? You know, like, it just is like, oh my God, stupid religious people.
Yeah, anyway. I grew up Methodist in a pretty like liberal church, and Methodism is it's some parts of it are more evangelical than others, like of the church. So my religious background is more learning about Jesus' love for everybody. Like that was a big thing, was love and forgiveness. So then when we would have people preaching things like Satan, or we need to turn to God, or let's fear God, that, you know, all the fear tactics that are used in religion.
Right.
When people would start talking about that, I remember as a kid being like, what? I mean, didn't Jesus say like, did Jesus say like you just need to love your neighbor? Oh, isn't that all you need? So
they were like, no, Kevin.
Yeah, and so I think I think that's why to me the devil's always been a goofy character, because like growing up, I was super into the church for like all of my childhood. Yeah, I was taught that God is love. Yeah. And so the idea of there being like this spooky man who's gonna get you didn't make sense, because like the new covenant that Christ made by dying on the cross freed us from all of that, and like we are redeemed from it. So
that's what I was always confused. Yeah, I was like, I thought we like beat this.
Yeah, I thought we figured this out. Yeah, like wasn't this the whole point?
Religion is so confusing.
Yeah, and like I'm not going to be able to quote the scripture exactly, but Jesus says something like, you know, I give this commandment above all, treat your neighbor as you treat yourself, like the golden rule, or love thy neighbor. And so it's like, well, he just said we don't need to worry about all that Old Testament stuff. And he's like, you just need to like fucking love everybody. And also I'm going to die. So then, you know, you're redeemed for your sins. So like why are we
still here?
Yeah.
Like,
why are we worried about
redundancy?
Yeah. Like, why are we worried about men sleeping with each other? Like, ew.
Yeah. Literally.
Right? Get a hobby.
Get a hobby.
Get a craft kit.
Have sex with a man.
Yeah. Try it.
Have sex with a woman.
Yeah. See, double dip. Who knows?
Double dip. Who knows?
You know, go down to like the craft store, get some knitting needles, get some yarn, get a pattern, sit yourself in front of the TV, turn on your favorite program.
Yes.
You know, click, turn up the volume a little bit, sit down.
Up on high.
You need it really loud so people know you're watching TV, especially if they call you, they know that there's a TV on. And then you just start knitting, and look, your life will transform.
So this is their life without religion.
This is their life without Christ, yes.
Okay, let's role play for a second. I'm gonna call you. You're that character knitting. Okay.
Okay.
Ring ring ring, ring ring ring.
Hello.
Mary Beth. Why have you not been at church service this week?
Oh well, I've just discovered the magical land of knitting. You know, knit one, purl two. Have you met?
Well, yes. But I mean, I hear the volume is so loud on your TV.
Oh, well, that's just my program. That's just WWE. You know, all these men in those outfits, you can hardly, there's everything presented, you know, those buns. It's like two hands.
Satan has overtaken Mary Beth. We need help.
Oh, honey, let me tell you, ever since I left the church, and I've been watching these gentlemen rolling around in that nasty little corral with those buns there, like two steamed hams or loaves of bread, just packed in there real tight. Real tight. Since watching that and knitting, I'm bad at knitting. Lord knows. I don't even know. I'm trying to make a blanket.
What are you knitting? Who are you
It's
knitting
supposed to be a blanket, but so far it's a tangle. And I'm knitting it for me because I'm cold while watching my program. And I want to put this on one of the wrestler stars. You know, the one who says, like, "You can't see me." You know that one?
I do not know any
Oh, well,
of
he's
this
handsome.
blasphemy.
Well, come on over. Come on down. I have some, what's it called? Digestive biscuits and tea.
Are we in England now?
Apparently. Well, I actually have digestive biscuits. They're great.
No, they'd have some sweet tea and egg salad.
Yum! Sweet tea and egg salad. That's what I want.
That was really fun. I think your personal fascination with WWE got a little infiltrated in there, but I'm not mad about it.
No. I've never actually seen, I don't know, do they call them an episode? I've not seen an episode of WWE.
A match?
Yeah, a match.
A fight?
A fight, yeah.
A round?
I just like looking at the GIFs that come across my Tumblr, because there's all these men. And I'm still on Tumblr, so, the porn's back!
Plug your Tumblr. Where can we find you?
Oh my god, no, don't follow me on Tumblr. That's my personal hell site. That's where I go to stew in the juices of Tumblr.
Okay, speaking back of stewing in the juices, I'm going to get into the negative aspects and controversies of Satanism.
Let's stew.
Okay, so this is talking about public misconceptions and stigmatization. Satanism is often misunderstood, leading to societal stigma and discrimination against its adherents. We know all about that. Association with criminal activities. Historical events like the Satanic Panic of the 1980s led to widespread fear and false accusations of ritual abuse impacting public perception. Next is psychological impact of demonic beliefs. Belief in demonic entities has been linked to negative mental health outcomes, including increased anxiety and fear. Potential for exploitation. The secrecy and esoteric nature of some practices may make individuals vulnerable to manipulation or exploitation by unscrupulous leaders. Ethical concerns regarding rituals. Certain alleged practices, such as animal sacrifice, raise ethical and legal concerns, though such activities are not representative of all satanic groups. Conflict with mainstream religious values. Satanism's opposition to traditional religious doctrines can lead to conflicts with mainstream religious communities and institutions. Legal and social challenges. Practitioners may face legal hurdles and social ostracism, particularly in regions where religious freedom is limited. Media sensationalism. Media portrayals often sensationalize satanic practices, contributing to misinformation and fear. Internal disagreements. Diverse interpretations within satanic communities can lead to internal conflicts and fragmentation. And lastly, potential for misuse of symbolism. Satanic symbols can be co-opted by extremist groups, leading to associations with hate, speech, or violence, which misrepresents the beliefs of many practitioners. And before we even get into that, I'm just laughing because I asked for the internet for, some positive things and some negative things. And we had 5 positive things, and that was 15 negative things. Isn't that insane?
Brutal.
It just goes to show, truly, what our society thinks of. I mean, this is talking about Satanism specifically as a belief system and as a religion, but so much has to do with the devil and demons. And we live in such a... What's the correct way to say it? An evangelicalist? Evangelical society?
Yeah.
America.
America is still very Puritan. We still have that legacy of the Puritans who are hardcore about fundamentalist Christianity, about being the chosen of God, going to a new world in which God has given them this world. This new land, and that whether or not your success in life, whether you're wealthy or poor, in good health or bad health, is a sign of how godly you are. If you're poor, that means you're too sinful and God's punishing you. If you're sick, same thing. Yeah. But what's interesting in that list of negatives is a lot of them could be applied to any group.
I was going to say to any religion, right? Especially Christianity. My gosh, yeah.
Like appropriation of symbols.
Yes.
You can apply to a lot of things.
Internal fragmentation, ostracism if you leave or if you disagree. I mean, yeah, that's so interesting. The other thing is that so much of it touched on these legal issues when it comes to sacrificing animals or doing sacrificing and things like that. And I'm like, it's just making me all think back to your first point here, which is how tied it is to women and their and witchcraft and like longing to control people, right? So even when it comes to any form of witchcraft, especially in the society we live in, if you say, oh, I'm a witch, people's minds immediately jump to like a pentagram and the devil and devil worship and negative stuff, and it's like, that might not be what I practice at all, or that might be what I practice sometimes, or maybe all the time, whatever. But it's like it so little of it involves sacrificing live animals that it's like, I don't know. It's weird how that's the perpetuated like common thing with Satanism.
Yeah, the way that people worship Satan is through killing is like the misconception. And like animal sacrifice is a very common thing across human cultures and historically in modern times. And whether or not like you agree with that on a moral ground, like it's a neutral act in terms of its commonality across religions. Like it appears in a bunch of places. So it's like it's this need to demonize this out group. And so like a lot of the demons that are in the demon tarot are, because the demons that Ariana Osborne used for the tarot are from this infernal dictionary that was written by Jacques Collin de Plancy, who was like converted to like really extreme Catholicism. And so the ones, some demons he included are just gods of other cultures that he was like, that's a demon. And just,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. So there's a number of them that it's like, oh, these are just like Hindu gods that he interpreted as demons, because that's the paradigm he was in, is like, well, if it's not Christian,
it's not the one true God, then it's a demon. Yeah, it's bad. Yeah. I remember learning that in my religion growing up too, of like people who worship multiple gods are evil, and being like, what?
Yeah. And I remember learning, I think this may have just been like an older, very colonial viewpoint on things, that like somehow there's a progression from polytheism to monotheism. Like for whatever reason, monotheists are like a more advanced form of religion. Like you have all these primitive people with their many gods, but we superior Europeans in the West, we have our one. And
it was because of the monarchy, right? That's what I was told, because of like a king. So there's one god, there's one king.
Yeah, and it's really easy to have like one entity that you can then put above all the others to structure society, to be like, we are in a hierarchy. And I think that's a big part of the evangelical need to like control women, is because there's the belief that there's the natural order of the man above the woman, and that you have to reinforce that because that's what God has set down in the Bible, and the Bible is God's word, so it's ultimate truth.
If this is like true, like, I mean, and it's silly to say if this is true, right? Because I feel like even though I see ghosts, I feel like I'm still agnostic when it comes to like religion. Like I know there's stuff, but I don't know what. But if that's true, that like the quote unquote one true God is like, well, men are above women, then like I want to be a Satanist.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like,
gross. And it's like, if an all-perfect, all-good God created the world, but then was like, well, I'm also going to make gay people, but then make it bad for gay people to be around. It's like...
Yeah, and make like wars and poverty and pain. And
giving children cancer, like children being born with cancer. Like,
right.
So that's why...
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's why I'm not a Christian or... really believe in like a deity. I'm more of like an animist in which the world has spirit, and I can with my spirituality is about connecting to the greater mystic qualities of the earth, of nature.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it just helps being in community with the planet, of seeing not just a tree, but the tree has a spiritual presence to it that I can communicate with, you know. And whether or not that's real doesn't matter, because it's just for me. Like I don't need there's no test I'm taking where I need to prove my religious belief in the supernatural here. Yeah. you know.
No, but I've never heard something like that, and it feels like it must make the world a much more pleasant place to live in if that's the case. I really like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a druid, and that's like a big part of it, is interacting with, it's an earth religion. So
yes.
It's nice, you know, watching the fog come in, or the clouds, the sun, and really seeing it as a member of my community. I'm not above nature. I'm part of it. I'm interconnected with the weather systems, the currents of the ocean that bring in the fog, that the fog condenses on the redwoods, that waters the redwoods and creates streams. And it's just, we're all so interconnected in a way that's so beautiful.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah, and it's just like dominating that seems to that seems like a sucky position to take.
Yeah.
You know? Like, why not be in communion with that? And that belief does exist in Christianity. Like, there is a tradition in Christianity of embracing God's creation and seeing yourself as part of that.
But it's still like his thing, right? That's what's so crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know much more than that. And Christianity is so old and so diverse that you could probably find anything in it.
Some way to prove it right or wrong. Yeah, absolutely.
Or just like different traditions that have grown up around some version. Because it's all, I mean, what books are in the Bible was decided by people. The books were written by people. So. And that's one fun, kind of going off on a tangent, but like there's apocrypha, like non-canon books that people were writing before things were like made canon. That have demons and devils in it, like crazy stuff happening, like, you know, because people would write fan fiction about Jesus basically and be like, yeah, and then Jesus did this crazy thing, and you know, it's really fun.
That is really fun.
Yeah.
Well, great. We keep touching on it a little bit of this like cross culture and history. So I'd love to get into that a little bit.
Yeah.
Just we've mentioned some of the names, but specifically Mesopotamian and Sumerian beliefs.
Yeah.
You brought up Pazuzu, known as the king of evil spirits, associated with bringing plagues, but also protecting against other demons. And also, listeners and Kevin, forgive me for all of these mispronunciations I'm probably going to have. So this is Lamashtu, a female demon who menaced women during childbirth, who was believed to kidnap infants. Now we're on to ancient Egyptian mythology. Apep, or Apophis, a serpent demon embodying chaos who battled the sun god Ra each night. In Jewish demonology, there's Lilith, often depicted as Adam's first wife, who becomes a demoness associated with harming infants and pregnant women. And then Asmodeus, a king of demons known for spreading lust and mischief.
Ooh, big fan of both of those.
And they are so reflective of the Mesopotamian and Sumerian beliefs. It's so funny, of the same thing, the female demon menacing women during childbirth. It's like, oh wow,
like childbirth was so dangerous for the mother and the child. So you would do whatever you could to get that demon there. And like, if I was a mother and my daughter is giving birth and she dies in that, I would need someone to blame.
That's a great
point. I would need that, especially in a world where we don't have our modern understanding of like giving birth.
Blood loss,
disease, even bacteria. The germ theory. Yeah. I would need that. If I was mourning the loss of my kid, or like if my kid suddenly became sick, that's kind of like where the changeling thing comes from, is like your kid just is now super sick and they were healthy. I need some way to understand that. And
it's like, oh, it's Lilith. Oh my gosh, it's happening. Yeah.
Wow. And like sickness, like with COVID, it was this invisible thing that was causing people to get sick.
Killing everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, it killed hundreds of thousands of people even in our country.
Yeah, it's insane. And so, because we have sort of a modern medicine paradigm to be able to understand that, but before that, what else could it be but a supernatural being? And in a way, we kind of were right that it was a being doing these things. You know, like bacteria and viruses are, well, viruses may or may not be alive. Them. Yeah. But like bacteria is alive.
Right.
So, you know, in a sense, maybe all demons are bacteria.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, yeah. That's great. So in Christian traditions, Satan, the primary adversary representing evil and temptation. Beelzebub, I love the name of that. Him. Beelzebub.
Lord of Flies.
I was thinking it'd be great to have a dog named Beelzebub. Call him Beelzy.
Yeah. Beelzy. Or Bubba.
Yeah, give me a Yeah. We call him Bubba after Beelzebub.
You know, the Lord of Flies.
The Lord of the Flies, associated with pride and gluttony. Legion, a collective of demons mentioned in the New Testament.
Yeah, I love Legion.
Do you know? I don't know what that is. Do you know more about that?
Yeah, so it's the story where Jesus is like, hey girls, let's go around. And then someone's like, I got this like possessed person. Can you come and look? And Christ is like, okay. And so he goes over and the possessed person's like, hey, so we're Legion. You can't fuck with us. And legion is a term that the Romans used and that we use too for like it's like 1,000 soldiers, or I don't know if it's 1,000, but it's like a set number of soldiers in the Roman army. So they're basically saying like, I'm a bunch of demons in this one person. And then Christ was like, get out of here. And then he excised the demons.
That easily. Great.
Yeah, because he's Christ, so you know.
What did he say?
By it's the cleverest thing.
House down.
Yeah.
Bye.
And the demons left.
They left. Easy peasy.
Easy peasy.
Islamic beliefs. Iblis. Oh gosh, Iblis. I feel bad. A jinn who refused to bow to Adam and was cast out, becoming a tempter of humans. Shayatin, a class of demons who incite humans to sin. Hindu and Buddhist traditions. Asuras, powerful beings often in opposition to the gods, representing chaos and moral failure. And then Rakshasas, shape-shifting demons known for their malevolence and trickery. In Japanese folklore, there's Oni or Ani, large, fearsome demons with horns known for their strength and ferocity. Akuma, evil spirits that bring misfortune and are considered harbingers of bad luck. In Slavic mythology, there's Allah, A-L-A, I guess, yeah. Demons associated with bad weather, especially hailstorms, believed to devour crops and children.
Ooh.
African traditions is the Tokoloshi, a mischievous and evil spirit in Zulu mythology, often invoked to cause trouble for others. And then Native American beliefs. This is a word, I don't say it on the podcast, but the colloquial term I use for it is flesh jaunter. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So in Navajo culture, witches that can transform into animals and are associated with malevolent deeds. So that's kind of my cultural touch. And I apologize for any and / all of these cultures if I mispronounced anything or if I named one of them that maybe isn't supposed to be named. I'm always trying to learn. So please hop in the comments and let me know if you know about these specific demons.
Yeah. Something that I think is interesting is we use the word demon for these things, but demon has so much cultural baggage for us because it's connected to Satan and all these things. Where in those cultures, you know, when we hear the word demon, we think like, oh, there's a hierarchy, there's like, they are evil. But in some cultures, there's just malevolent spirits that, you know, are mean and bad and you don't want them, but they're not necessarily incarnations of ultimate evil.
Right. Gosh, I love you. Great way of breaking that down. It's hard to break down this stuff that feels in between, historical, religious, and a little bit woo-woo, and you just did it so beautifully. So thank you for that.
Yeah, and that's what's fun about humans. We make all kinds of stuff. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Like, listeners, next time you go to the library, because you should be supporting your local library, get a book on some culture that you've never heard of, and just sit down with your knitting needles and WWE and learn something new.
Maybe just knitting needles. Don't bring WWE to your local library.
No,
that might be distracting.
Or just bring headphones if you bring the WWE.
There you go.
Yeah.
I love that. You talked a little bit about these hierarchies, and this is something I actually honestly still don't really know a lot about. I did, a little bit of copying and pasting from the internet, but I'd love to kind of dive into it here. The classification and hierarchy of demons. So the book of Abramelin. Do you know how to say that?
No, but it sounds like something delicious.
All right, I'm going to say it again, but with confidence. The Book of Abramelin lists 4 princes of demons, Lucifer, Leviathan, Satan, and Belial, and 8 sub-princes, including Astaroth and Beelzebub. Joanne Wyer's Pseudo-Dominarchia Daemonum is a 16th century grimoire cataloging... Ooh, sorry, I got a really heavy feeling with that one. Whew.
Ooh, spooky.
That was weird. Cataloging 69 demons, detailing their titles and functions. Maybe that one's got something to it, because I got really overcome with something right there. That was funky.
Oh, hey there, listeners. Courtney here with Jaunty Hans. Sorry to interrupt this paid programming. JK, this programming, to recommend some podcasts that you should listen to and that you should check out. These are creators who I have done some interviews with and spoken with, and their shows are awesome. So, first show is the Red Treehouse podcast. This is your official invitation to join Will in the Red Treehouse, where he'll tell you the creepiest, eeriest, and most terrifying tales to keep you up at night. And along the way, you'll be challenged to consider what you believe. Does the paranormal and supernatural really exist, or is it a figment of an overactive imagination? I mean, we know what I think, but episodes release twice each week and can be found wherever you stream podcasts. It's a scary world out there. Let's explore it together in the Red Treehouse. So guys, check out the Red Treehouse podcast. Another one is Arcane Carolinas. Check out Arcane Carolinas for an informed but fun-spirited look at the verifiable history and science behind stories about ghosts, cryptids, UFOs, and plain old weird stuff. Their research methods have turned up enough surprising information about the origins of lore that the Arcane Carolinas books have been preserved in state archival libraries. Arcane Carolinas is available on all major podcast services. Do you question reality? Are you drawn to UFOs, time slips, premonitions, or the mysteries of consciousness? Then you need to check out the Close Encounters Club podcast. Hosted by Justin Gearhart, a skeptic with an open mind, Close Encounter Club features real people sharing their encounters with the unexplainable. He's joined by his producer Josh, chiming in from Australia with his own curious takes. They also bring on scientists and experts who are actually trying to figure out what the hell is going on. So, if you've ever stared at the sky and felt like something was staring back, this one's for you. Search Close Encounter Club wherever you get your podcasts. Tell them Jaunty sent you. Another one to check out is Opening Kill. Opening Kill is the new podcast that covers the terrifying world of horror films. From the latest movie news to an in-depth look at a featured film and a peek at the chilling horror films to come, Opening Kill has you covered. Whether it's gore, suspense, or supernatural thrills, Opening Kill is the ultimate horror deep dive. Hosted by Brian O'Connor and Michael Duran. Listen to Opening Kill on your favorite podcast platform every Thursday. And also Believing in the Bizarre podcast. Also, guys, Hidden in the Shadows podcast, another great one. And just for funsies, just to shout it out there, maybe they'll hear one day, maybe I'll meet them, I don't know. My favorite all-time fun, spooky paranormal podcasts are, of course, Spooked by Snap Judgment, A Funny Feeling podcast with Betsy and Marcy, and Ghosted by Roz Hernandez.
So just some fun recommendations for you guys. I love to boost and promote other podcasts that I resonate with. If you want a shout out, please reach out. I'd love to spread the word. Anyway, back to the show. The Lesser Key of Solomon, a grimoire compiling various earlier works, including the Ars Gotica, which lists 72 demons, their descriptions, and how to summon them. I'm almost done with my research here. If you don't mind, then we can just chat about the rest of this here. But
sure.
Cultural significance of demons. Demons have served various roles across cultures. Moral lessons. We've been talking about this all night. In many traditions, demons personify human vices, teaching lessons about morality and ethics. Explanations for misfortune. Again, Kevin is so smart. Both scientific understanding. Demons were often used to explain diseases, natural disasters, and personal tragedies. Spiritual challenges. In religions like Buddhism, demons represent internal struggles, such as desire and ignorance that hinder spiritual progress. I've got the whole the hierarchical structure of demons in Christian and Catholic traditions. So yeah, lastly, because this episode and the next episode is going to talk about these hierarchical structure of demons in Christian and Catholic traditions with the Hidden Shadows podcast. So basically the concept of diabolarchy. Christian theology posits a structured hierarchy among demons mirroring the celestial order of angels. The diabolarchy suggests that demons, as fallen angels, retain their original ranks and roles, now perverted to oppose divine will.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't know about this until recently.
Nice to keep that organization in place. See, that's the mark of a good manager. Because if you're going to start your own little company, you might as well just have a good organization in place. So if you're going to rebel against God, don't change what's not broken, you know?
No, they had a good system, a good HR. They had all of the roles and descriptions ready. Yeah. But when this happened, according to all of the Bible and historians, the first hierarchy was comprising the most powerful demons, including Satan / Lucifer, Beelzebub, Leviathan. The second hierarchy includes demons like Asmodeus and Belial. The third hierarchy consists of demons such as Astaroth and Mammon. All different demons who resemble specific things like greed, sloth, gluttony, all kinds of human sins, ironically, right?
Telemarketing.
Telemarketing. And then the 7 archdemons and the deadly sins, what they all resemble. Lucifer is pride, Mammon is greed, Asmodeus as lust, Leviathan as envy, Beelzebub as gluttony, Satan as wrath, and Belphegor as sloth. So that's kind of the list of the basic demons, which is interesting because with horror movies and with my own personal beliefs and experiences, these sort of dark energy, balls of creature, negative things, it feels like there are a lot more than just this. But this is a lot of what I was getting through research, was the same names coming up over and over again. So I'm curious to go into it more with a woo-woo nature and see kind of like what more there is. But I don't know. What do you think about all this hierarchical stuff, Kevin?
Well, I think it's fun. I just love I love that as humans we love categorizing things and organizing things. Like sit us down in front of a pile of rocks and we'll sort them out based on anything. And so I love the one with the 69 nice demons in it. Like,
yeah, right.
That's like a Pokédex that someone put together of demons. Just like, okay, I'm tired of having all these demons spread out everywhere. We got to put them together so we can know that we got Belphegor over here being slothful. Because if he shows up,
go with Asmodeus.
No. Yeah, because if Belphegor is going to show up at the door, you got to know who he is, you know. But yeah, I love it. I love this stuff because it's so much fun. Like,
yes.
I mean, the writers probably weren't thinking like, "Oh my god, I'm having so much fun doing this." But
Right.
to me, it's a lot of fun seeing how people, made the world with these things.
Yeah.
Like expressed how they were affected by the world. In a sense, this is art,
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And after these hundreds of thousands of years, there's still like viability to like people still believe in this stuff. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, and like I bet if we were to go back in time and talk to like a Neanderthal, or even further back and talk to Homo erectus, who is sort of our pre-human ancestor, they were humans, but like just before modern anatomical humans.
Yeah.
They probably had supernatural beliefs.
Yeah. Wow.
They weren't as intelligent as us, so maybe their social systems weren't as complex.
Right.
But my intuition, and this is totally unconfirmable because they're all dead, is that we've had spirituality, or at least a metaphysical understanding of the world for a lot of our evolution, because it's a useful tool for understanding the world, is to make it into a person, to make that disease into an entity that we can drive out or bring in, or ask for blessings and things. And so making works like these, where you assemble all these lists of demons, or like how to conjure them, is an important part of that, an important part of interacting with the world. And it probably was fun to be like, to go through all the scholarship and be like, okay, so we got this guy. This is what the sources say. I'm putting this together. Because it was, I really wonder what the authors were thinking of, like, why do I need to make sure this information is cataloged together?
Right.
Yeah.
And like it's cataloged and like, you basically like categorized and assigned to a certain sort of feeling or emotion or desire.
Yeah. And like the fact that those demons are connected to the 7 sins in Christianity shows like that's the priorities of that culture, is dealing with those 7 sins and like understanding how those sins might manifest. Because it's a lot easier to put a face on something than it is to talk about metaphysical things, like what you mentioned with Buddhism, that the demons are conceptions of like internal hurdles, struggles. It's easier for me to be telling you about an entity, about a character, than it is for me to tell you dry metaphysical stuff, like conceiving, like in Jurassic Park. Have you seen Jurassic Park?
Like the first one?
Yeah.
I mean, a long time ago, but what part?
So there's the part where they're in the park, and there's like the video that plays to give exposition about like this little DNA guy who talks about like, we cloned them using frog DNA and everything. Having a character tell that is a lot easier to understand than like just someone saying,
a man.
Yeah, just telling you the facts. So it makes it fun. And they're like, the demonology, the summoning of demons was seen as real. Like Queen Elizabeth had a court magician. His name escapes me, which if you're still around, court magician of Queen Elizabeth, don't get mad with me.
I thought you were talking to our listeners.
Yeah, if you're still listening, if you're the court magician, and you're still around and you're listening, like, comment, subscribe, 5 stars, share with your friends. But yeah, like they had a magician there so that he could do the magic stuff that needed to be done.
But was the magician like a magic practitioner, or like a fun woo-wah magician, like a jester?
No, he was a practitioner. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I gotta look up his name. This is getting to me.
What if it's Belphegor?
Let's see. John D. John D. I'm sure you have listeners who are yelling like, "It's John D!
It's John D! You morons!"
Right? Well, thank you. Like, comment, subscribe.
All my 75 listeners.
Yeah. Comment John D if you've gotten this far in the episode. Put John D in the comments.
I love that.
Yeah.
John D with the little devil emoji, the little
Yeah.
purple devil emoji.
Yeah. But yeah, he did like alchemy and divination and stuff, so.
Okay, so I have a question for you then. That's all my research. Thank you so much. This is just for funsies now. But like when we first met, you, if you're comfortable talking about it, you were practicing a different kind of religion based on like the Greek gods, right?
Yeah.
What was that called?
Hellenismos.
Gosh, I loved talking with you about that. That was so interesting. Can I ask why you sort of transitioned from that or let go of that?
Yeah, so I moved from that to Druidism or Druidry, partly because I just didn't feel spiritually fulfilled in the Hellenic tradition. I get more spiritual comfort and fulfillment from Druidry, which is sort of there's no set like rituals or gods or even philosophies. It's more of a community that's united by nature worship and like a nature spirituality, being in communion with nature. And so there's some people who are like Christian druids, Buddhist druids that combine the two and mix those. People who might be fully into like the Celtic polytheist tradition or not. Like for me, I guess I'd describe myself as an animist, just seeing like the spiritual in the material world. And it's just a bit more satisfying for me to have that as my connection with the world is through interacting with it and not necessarily through ritual. And like, I don't know, I might end up going back to some of the practices and rituals that I did in Hellenism. But right now I don't feel that need, you know?
Yeah.
You know, so.
That's really cool. Thank you for sharing. I was just curious. Yeah. And you know, talked so much about religion. I was just, my mind was on it.
Yeah.
This has been really fun. Thank you so much for coming on. I feel like we can do anything you want to talk about in the future because you're just this beautiful encyclopedia of fun knowledge and hot takes.
Yeah. Do you want to see my cat? He's a black cat, so your listeners probably will enjoy.
Yes, please show Milo. Also, I thought it would be fun to, before we go, create a demon of what our demon together would be like. Hi, Milo. Oh my gosh.
He was just about to go to sleep.
He's so beautiful. Oh, yeah. Kevin.
What? He's a cat. He sleeps so much.
You had to wake him up.
Well,
no, he looks so beautiful.
Yeah. He's my lovely little black cat who lets me brush his teeth and trim his nails. I just sat
He really is a doll. Okay, wait. So let's combine our names and think of what our demon would be, of dealing with moral and contemporary issues, right? Like, what would it be? I feel like Kavini is kind of fun.
Ooh.
Kevin and Courtney, Kavini.
Cavortney.
Cavortney is good too.
Yeah.
Cavortney, yeah. Courtnan,
yeah.
Corvin is good too.
Yeah.
No, I liked the third one. What was it? Cavortney. I like Cavortney. It's the most demon sounding one.
Yeah, Cavortney. Let's see, what are they the demon of?
I mean, we definitely deal with like mental health stuff.
Yeah.
So that could be a part of it.
Yeah. I'm also thinking of like when you think that you maybe have left the stove on, but you haven't,
yes,
and you're like, well, 90% sure, like I didn't even use the stove today, but then you have to go and look anyways. That's the demon of that. Yeah,
the demon of like inconvenient alarms. Or
something. Of like anxiety.
Yeah, it's just anxiety.
I mean, because I used to live in a place where there was a lot of forest fires. And like you had to be aware when you might need to evacuate. Here, I'm like super paranoid about making sure that the stove is off.
The stove is off.
So like,
yeah,
that's the demon for me, is the demon that makes me think, oh, did I leave the stove on when I've never used the stove in the day? Like it's not been on at all.
It's not even a thing.
Yeah.
No, oh my gosh, I'm going to tell you this, and then I might have to take it off the podcast in case something happens. But we're already past it. But at my work, we have really fancy bougie candles, and we keep them lit, during the day. And I'm a closer, and I forgot to blow out the candle at closing, and it burned all night. So the openers who got there the next morning were like, "It smells so good in here," and like the candle was still burning.
Hey, that's good. Long lasting.
They're very high quality candles.
Yeah.
I mean, my God. But still, it was like, they're like, who did this? And I was like, me. I don't lie. I'm honest. But I was like, that was me.
That was me. Yeah. Yeah. Whenever I have candles.
It was Cavortney.
It was Cavortney. See? Like Titivolus, who does your spelling errors, Cavortney leaves your candles on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The alarms of inconvenience, except he wasn't there for that one. I needed Cavortney at that time to remind me to blow out the flame with the paranoia.
But he wasn't there. Yeah. Just like a demon, not to be there when you need him.
I want a shirt that says that.
Yeah, you could put it on your merch. Just like a demon,
just like
not
a demon,
be there.
not to be there when you need them.
Well.
All right, Kevin. Well, thank you so much for your time and your amazing, beautiful brain. Do you have any last minute thoughts or things you want to say? And also, please plug yourself and your work.
Oh, yeah. I guess my last thought is skepticism doesn't mean you need to be mean to people. Take that's a good thing to have. If you want to be skeptic about stuff, don't be mean. Don't be mean in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't be mean. That's my parting wisdom. If the demons and devil has taught us anything, it's not to be mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're kind of
unless
mean.
you want to. I feel like. Well, hold on.
Unless what was the card that said it was like unless you want to have people's secrets, but not tell people.
It was just like have people's secrets, but like don't share them.
Yeah, don't be mean.
Was a little ominous.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, what happens if I do?
Oh, we'll have a flying dog.
Okay, well then I'm gonna do it because I want a flying dog.
Do it. Leave a secret in the comments below.
Leave a secret below so I can get a flying dog.
And then if you want to follow me on Instagram, I post stories about my cat at KV_RAE. I'm right now working on some different writing projects, and so I might post updates there. Oh, but you can listen to The Occult Adventures of Norman P. Blank. The full show's out and ready for your ears.
Yeah, if you're a fan of will you give everybody a brief description of the show?
Yeah, so it's set in 1930s San Francisco in the magical world of San Francisco. Norman is a normal human lawyer who helps the people of San Francisco with their problems, legal or otherwise. And it's a fun queer show. There's magic, there's comedy, there's floating skulls. All the things.
Spooky and magic and funny and silly.
Yeah.
And Kevin is Norman, and I play a character called Lady Blackfreeze.
Yeah. A powerful fairy princess.
Hee.
Yeah, you could follow me on Instagram. If you want to follow me on Tumblr, it's starcaptain.tumblr.com.
It's just porn though, right?
No, that's my side blog. That's gentlebrokisses at .tumblr.com, which is
okay.
Yeah, I had to have a separate blog to put all the porn on because it's back, baby.
Tumblr porn is back.
It's back. Tumblr is so good. Like, if you don't like modern social media, go to Tumblr because it's just people who have been there forever, and you can easily ignore a lot of like the noise on the internet because it's just the feed of the people you follow, and there's a For You tab, but I never go there.
That's good to know. Okay.
Yeah, and then because it's just a bunch of old people hanging out mostly, you get a lot of millennial memes like, "Oh, my knees are aching," stuff like that. It's really fun.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
People of all ages. If you are under 18, do not follow Kevin's Tumblr
don't follow
porn.
gentle bro kisses, but you can follow... Actually, if you're under 18, don't follow me, please.
At all, period.
At all.
All right. I love you so much, Kevin.
Love you too, Courtney.
Hey, ghoul friends. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you had fun with my friend Kevin and I. Be sure to come back next week to hear my interview with Isaac from Hidden in the Shadows podcast, where the discussion on demons continues. Bye!
Thanks so much for listening. Remember, you are not alone if you've ever heard a bump in the night or caught something out of the corner of your eye. There are countless others who experience things they can't explain. And this podcast is your safe place to listen and share. Also, I want to remind everyone that this show is for entertainment purposes. I am not a professional paranormal investigator. I did not go to school to study this. I can only speak about my first-hand experiences. And with that, I'd love to mark the importance of spiritual inclusion. Your thoughts, ideas, and theories about the other side are welcome. And we know that so much of our common knowledge and perception about the paranormal stems from historical and cultural experiences. So we are open to your knowledge and understanding of things that we may be ignorant about or not fully understand. Let's learn and grow together. Stay spooky, and we'll see you next time. Hey ghoul friends, got a spooky story to share? Well, I want to hear about your haunts. Whether you've seen a ghost or something unexplainable, send your supernatural experiences to us at jauntyhaunts@gmail.com. That's JAUNTYHAUNTS@gmail.com. Or DM us on Instagram at jauntyhauntspod. That's jauntyhaunts_pod. You can also find us on TikTok and YouTube under Jaunty Haunts Podcast. I want to hear from you.